A Nigerian court orders temporary transfer of Shell and ENI oil fields to the federal government. Uganda negotiates a $2.3 billion loan with China's Exim Bank to fund rail line projects. Plus, Tanzania receives $305 million loan from the World Bank to expand its main port. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on Business Incorporated, coming to you live from Lagos. I'm Chimeze Obi. Well, now let's get started. We'll begin with the markets, and starting off in Africa. Egypt's stock market surged on Thursday on the back of the success of Cairo's international sovereign bond issue. The market, which closed today for the weekend, notched up 1.6% on Thursday to close at 13,091.05. At intraday, the NSE All-Share Index was trading in the green, up 0.11%, while the Johannesburg Stock Exchange was down 0.83%. We can see the Kenyan Stock Exchange, of course, closed on Thursday at 0.29%. In the Middle East, stock markets are closed for the weekend. However, the market on Thursday showed a mixed trading, supported by strong global equities and oil prices. The Saudi index edged up 0.9%, and we can see Abu Dhabi closing at 0.38%, up 4,605 points. Dubai Financial Market was up 0.62%, and Qatar Stock Exchange was down 0.42% at 11,064 points. And markets in Europe opened lower on Friday after strong gains earlier this week, with investors digesting corporate earnings and fluctuations in currency markets. Now, aside from looking at several corporate earnings reports, investors are also focused on Washington, where UK Prime Minister Theresa May will meet US President Donald Trump. Now, let's get the mood of the markets in Europe. Annette Wisbach, DWTV Channels TV financial correspondent, joins me now. Good afternoon, Annette. Thank you very much for joining us. Our UK Prime Minister Theresa May is meeting with US President Donald Trump. May said on Thursday that opposites attract, as she called for a strengthening in the special relationship with the U.S. Is May's statement a concern or comforting for European leaders?
Actually, I think it's quite funny that she's saying opposite attracts when she's talking about Donald Trump, and but one, of course, has to take that with a pinch of salt. She's traveling to the States with a clear mission. She wants to get a better deal for Great Britain in terms of a trade agreement, and Donald Trump also was already offering her a trade agreement which might be better than the current one after the UK left the Eurozone. So I think European leaders are watching that meeting with like some sort of interest, I would say, because of course it's clear that they want to make sure that there's no destabilizing factor in more cooperation between the United States and the UK for the rest of the world. But I think for the markets, first of all, it's not a great deal, currently at least, because of course Mr. Trump doesn't even have a trade secretary yet in place, so what can come out of that meeting is nothing really substantial. It's just a first meeting to test the waters, I'd say.
Well, we'll wait and see and get to know the outcome of that meeting. Now, two other world leaders are meeting this Friday. Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany is receiving France's President François Hollande in Berlin to discuss the future of the EU. What are investors expecting to hear?
Well, we are already hearing from them that they're quite concerned about the state of the European Union. They are saying, or they're calling for European unity in the face of big challenges. And those challenges, they are both saying, Angela Merkel and François Hollande, are not only coming from outside the Union, they're also coming from inside. And what they mean with that is that the rise of populist parties is threatening the unity of Europe. Above all in France, we have elections in France coming up this year, and potentially Marine Le Pen, which is the leader of the Front National, the populist party, might win those elections. And if that will be the case, then there's a big risk that France might leave the Eurozone, because that's high up on her agenda.
Well, Annette, the week has come to a close today. I mean, the trading week. Could you wrap up the week for us and give us an outlook of what next week would look like for the market, especially in relation to the corporate earnings?
Yeah, actually next week will be full of corporate earnings. We have like Roche from Switzerland, we have Deutsche Bank here in Germany, super important, and perhaps we might even get a strategy update from the lender. Remember, the Deutsche Bank, Germany's biggest bank, was struggling with I would say, a crisis of confidence from investors last September. The shares came back quite tremendously, but still there's a huge question mark about the strategy. Potentially they might announce as well an IPO of their asset management unit. So this is here in Germany. Also we get a trading update from Siemens, the big industrial conglomerate. Other than that, of course, plenty of earnings in Europe, but also on the economic indicator front, we get an update about GDP development for the last quarter in Europe. That will be super interesting. And last but not least, there is a high-level meeting on Monday with more than 20 banks from the United Kingdom, from London, here in Frankfurt with the German financial watchdog BaFin, in order to discuss what needs to be done to relocate parts of their business away from London to Frankfurt if Brexit will happen, and of course it will happen this year. But that, back to you.
Yeah, sure. We'll definitely keep an eye on that meeting, and of course the corporate earnings, and of course next week we'll have more conversation on that. Thank you very much, Arnett, for your time.